Welcome, everybody, to Steel City South. Birmingham, Alabama is the site of the 1999 Lakeshore Foundation Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama World Challenge Wheelchair Tennis Invitationals. Thanks for joining us. I'm Bo Estes, and over the course of the next hour, we'll be showing you all of the stars in the sport of wheelchair tennis. That's right, they've come from around the world to compete for $41,000. In fact, in just its fourth year of existence, the World Challenge is already one of the richest stops on the tour. And for such a big event, we brought in our own heavy hitter, my broadcast partner, Leif Shiras.
Thank you, Bo. 36 of the finest wheelchair athletes have gathered here in Birmingham, Alabama for the World Challenge. 7 of the top 10 men are here, including David Hall, the world champion, and 6 of the top 10 women, including Sonia Peters, a defending champion here at the World Challenge. Also, 8 of the top quad open athletes are here as well. So we've got some great tennis action. If you've never seen wheelchair tennis before, please stay where you are. You'll be amazed at what great tennis these players can produce on a tennis court. Let's start out with the men's singles, the men's open division, the singles semifinals. In the first men's semifinal, it was the #1 ranked player in the world, David Hall from Sydney, Australia, taking on Michael Folks from La Jolla, California. Folks has won 4 tournaments already in '99 and has jumped to a career high in the rankings at number 6. Hall is a 2-time champion here at the World Challenge, winning in '96 and '97. He looked to get back into the finals after bowing out in the semifinals last year. Folks brought out his impressive left-handed shot-making early, including this backhand winner. Folks also showed his versatility by finishing off this rally with an overhead. His aggressive go-for-broke style began to give way, though, to Hall's consistent ground stroke game and his powerful forehand. This forehand winner by Hall was one of many he used to establish an early lead. The 29-year-old Australian loves heavy metal music, horror movies, and ripping forehands. How about this one? Hall served for the first set at 5-1, but Folks refused to give in. Here he nails a service return to stay in the set. But Hall would ultimately prevail using this forehand, this backhand, and finally this return to win the first set, 6-2. In the second set, Folks stayed close early, but the world champion David Hall would not be denied his 3rd World Challenge final in 4 years. Hall broke Folks' serve early in the final game to close out a 6-2, 6-2 victory. So it was David Hall, the #1 seed, winning in straight sets 6-2, 6-2, and advancing to the final. The second semifinal featured a rematch of last year's final when Ricky Moyer, former world #1 from the Netherlands, beat American #1 Stephen Welch in straight sets. This year, Moyer, the Paralympic gold medalist in 1996, was again looking for a return trip to the finals. In his way, the best all-around athlete on the tour, Stephen Welch. Welch from Fort Worth, Texas, himself a gold medalist in the doubles at the '96 Paralympics, came out firing. He won this huge point on serve to go up 4-2 in the opening set. On his next service game, he served this ace. Moyer struggled to find his rhythm as Welch played with great variety. Welch held serve to go up 5-3. Moyer tried to pick up his play at the end of the set, hitting this great return. But it wasn't enough as he double faulted to give Welch the set. Moyer shifted gears in the second set, however. Shots he was missing earlier now began to find their mark. He broke Welch's serve to start the second set. This Moyer ace gave the 22-year-old Dutchman a 2-0 lead. Moyer was now building momentum and confidence. Known for his powerful shot making, he continued knocking off winners. Welch, the only Paralympic athlete to play both basketball and tennis in the same year, rallied his game. As he did so, though, the rains came. After the rain delay, Moyer pressed his lead to 5-love, winning 7 straight points. He went on to win the second set 6-1. The third set began with Moyer again establishing control. Moyer led 2-1. Welch served in the fourth game, and his 40-love lead, earned with his own slick shot-making, disappeared as Moyer's returns found the mark. Welch answered with his favorite shot, his backhand, to pull even at 2-all. In Game 5, as clouds moved in and rain threatened, Welch secured a critical service break to go up 3-2. And then a second rain delay. Both players knew this rain delay and how each responded to it could turn the tide in this, the final set.
I have to say, Steve, he's one of the guys who can start real quick, and I'm someone who has to grow in the match.
Yeah.
You know, and that's real tough to win a match like that if you're like a slow starter.
I think it favors the players who are more mentally tough, you know, and I think in this situation it's me. Ricky's a very physical player. He tries to pump himself up, high energy, you know, hitting big shots, and he was getting in a rhythm in that first, before the first rain delay. So, you know, I can't help but think that it helped me a little bit there because he was rolling pretty fast. So I wasn't crying when I had to leave the court there on the first one.
Welch did capitalize after the break. He held his serve to go up 4-2. Welch continued to pressure Moyer, matching him shot for shot. Moyer had to bring out his best to hold serve and stay close. In the end, Welch needed to hold serve for a place in the finals. He played with great intensity in the final game, like a man possessed, and came up with big shots when he needed them. He closed out Moyer 6-4 in the third set in a match that lived up to the rivalry that these two have developed. For Moyer, it was a disappointing loss. For Welch, it was his chance to play for his first World Challenge title. So the men's final is set, and we'll take a look at that later in the show. Coming up, the women's singles final here at the World Challenge.
Nation's Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama World Challenge Wheelchair Tennis Championships is presented by RoHo, by the Lakeshore Foundation, providing opportunities for people with physical disabilities to live healthy, active lives. Be Careful, Be Safe is a safety initiative sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama. The all-Dutch final on the women's side of the bracket came as no surprise because, as you can see, 4 of the top 5 players in the world are from the Netherlands. What a difference a year makes for Sonja Peters. Just 12 months ago, she was a wild card entry in the '98 World Challenge, but took the field by surprise, claiming the championship. Now she returns as the #1 seed and is well aware of the pressure involved in defending her title.
Oh, it's a big, big difference. When I came in last year, I got a wild card for this tournament. I was the last seeded player, and I won the tournament. And this year, I'm the first seed. So in a year time, I moved up from spot 16 on the world rankings to #4. So yeah, the pressure is a lot different too now.
As the sun set on day 1 of the competition, good friends and doubles partners Sonja Peters and Sharon Walraven met in the women's singles final. And early on, it was Peters capitalizing on a breakpoint opportunity to take a 1-0 lead with this smoking forehand up the line. But it wasn't the play that set the tone early, it was the nerves.
What I didn't expect before the match, I got really, really nervous. So I wasn't hitting the ball well, and I missed a lot of shots just by, you know, the tension. I had a lot of shots in the net.
I was getting so nervous, and I guess that's the same for her.
But Walraven shed the finals jitters quicker, and this cross-court bomb gave her the first set. And with that in hand, her mission was clear.
I was thinking, don't let it go into the third set, because then she was also really nervous. I saw that she was hitting the ball not well. She can do better. We both can do better. So I thought I have to just lay the ball in the corners.
Now, folks, this isn't a replay. With the score 4-all in the second and advantage Walraven, Sonia Peters sails this backhand opportunity way long, giving Walraven a 5-4 lead and a shot at the title. And the final game was the biggest struggle of all for Peters. First a double fault, then long on this cross-court backhand, and then a cross-court backhand into the net, setting up a match point for Sharon Walraven, and she would waste no time here blazing the cross-court backhand to give her the women's title, Walraven's first at the Lakeshore Foundation's World Challenge and her third straight this year.
I'm having such a great year this year. It's so great for me, because last year I was in 5 finals and I lost them all. It's good to be in a final, but winning, that's the best. So this year it's my 3rd tournament that I win in a row. So that makes me really, really happy.
Later, Walraven teamed with her finals opponent Sonia Peters for the women's doubles final. But Canada's Yuka Chokyu and Belgium's Bridget Amorex were able to cool off the Dutch duo, winning a squeaker 7-5 in the third. In wheelchair tennis, the dividing line between open players and quad players is that a quad player is limited by some form of upper body disability. Nick Taylor, a quad player, explains how he overcomes these disabilities to serve the ball.
Okay, the way I hold it is, well, it's really just completely backwards to the way anyone else would hold one. You know, I consider this side to be my forehand, and obviously the back of my hand is out. And then I just take the ball and, you know, grab it or catch it or whatever when somebody gives it to me, set it up like that, and then flip it up and hit it.
The big story in the men's quads has been young Nick Taylor. Nick defeated Brian Hansen, the #1 player in the world, Love, in the semifinals. But in the finals, he'd have to defeat Rick Draney, the defending champion, to take home the title.
He's an intelligent player. The way he maneuvers his chair is a bit unique in our division, and it kind of throws some of your thinking and some of your planning off and what you want to do and your strategies, and so it takes some time to work that out. What I really wanted to do most of the time was to try to keep him pinned in the deuce court. Get him over there thinking that's where I'm going to go, that's where I'm going to go. Keep working the point, keep working the point. Then when I've either got a big opening or I've got him in the middle of the court, I've got the ability to choose where I want to go.
The first set was a nip and tuck affair. Eventually, it was decided in a tiebreaker.
Yeah, anytime you go to a tiebreaker, and I think I was down 0-3 to start off, and I can't remember how the rest of it progressed, but yeah, at 5-6, he had a set point on me, and somehow I found a way to do what I needed to do to pull that first set out.
After losing that first set in a tiebreaker, Taylor came up with an interesting way to motivate himself.
This is going to sound crazy, but I start telling myself it's over, you lost. That's honestly how I do it. I start thinking, you're done, and for some reason it makes me start playing better.
He played well in the second set. He stepped up his game, looked like he relaxed and focused a little bit more. But there were a lot of shots and opportunities that I had, and I fell out of my game plan, and where I just started to try to end the point with the winner instead of work the point until I really had the shot I wanted. And I had to just calm myself down and tell myself to get back to the game plan and go with what worked.
And when Nick Taylor's return sailed long, Rick Draney claimed his 4th straight World Challenge 7-6, 2-6, 7-5.
I tell you, the Lakeshore Foundation World Challenge has been good to me. The 3 years that the Quad Open division has been included, I've been fortunate enough to win the singles title all 3 times. We've won 1 doubles title and finished second. We're in the doubles final tomorrow again. So I've had a great time coming here and look forward to keep coming, and we'll see what the results are in the future.
Well, the immediate future didn't turn out so well for Draney, as he and partner Brent Poppin lost to #1 seeds Robert Sanders and Chris Studwell 4-6, 7-6, 6-2 in the third. Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll see highlights of the men's open doubles finals. Welcome back to the World Challenge Wheelchair Invitational Tennis Championships. Taking a look at the men's doubles world rankings, we find 3 of the top 5 featured in the open doubles final. Ricky Moyer, the #1 ranked player in the world, is the defending singles champion at the World Challenge. Steve Welch is one of the most exciting players on tour and a 3-time doubles champion here. And his partner, Scott Douglas, is the director of athletics at the Lakeshore Tennis Center and our host for the tournament. But it's Moye's partner who may have the best memory of playing in the World Challenge. 2 years ago, this wooded retreat changed Dan and Allison Lockman's life forever.
I was here early from a tournament in Atlanta, and I went up to the fitness center to work out, and she was the only one there. And I was fairly smitten. I was interested.
He's always wanted to keep the conversation going, and I was impressed when I met him.
Just 18 months after that first meeting, Allison stumbled upon a surprise that she knew would change her life forever.
It was actually when he picked me up from the airport. I reached in the glove compartment to get something out of the car, and the ring was in the glove
She hadn't opened up the glove compartment our whole relationship. And
I opened it up in the boxes there.
my friends were lock it. I was like, no, she won't open it. She opened it.
And now, just 2 years removed from their fateful meeting at Lakeshore, the newlyweds return to the World Challenge fresh from a Hawaiian honeymoon. And there's the newlyweds setting up in the first set of the men's open double finals. Scott Douglas serving at 2-0. Dan Lackman got plenty of work as Welch and Douglas came after him, and that Welch backhand put the #1 seeds up 3-0. Lackman now serving. And he and his partner Ricky Moye worked their way back into this match. And after great hustle by Welch on this Ricky Moye drop shot, Lackman puts it away, and what looked like a blowout is now a match.
Advantage Lackman.
Moye now serving at 4-5, 30-all, and this was a huge turning point. Both teams extending themselves to make great gets.
I got it.
Here Lackman has a shot to put it away, but Welch makes a nice return. And the play would end on this Douglas overhead, and it was set point.
30-40.
It was then that Douglas and Welch seized the momentum and won the set 6-4.
Left. Game in first set. Douglas and Welch, 6 games to 4.
In the second set, Lackman serving at 2-1 up a break.
Come back.
And with consistency, hustle, and placement, Lackman and Ricky Moye go up 3-1.
Lockman and Moye. Lockman and Moye lead 3 games to 1.
But Douglas and Welch would not be denied. With Welch patrolling the baseline and Douglas hovering around the net, it was classic Douglas-Welch doubles. That teamwork and communication led to this overhead and a break to go up 5-3 in the second.
30-40.
Moye now serving at 4-5, and on this point, Steve Welch showed why he is considered by many to be the finest conditioned athlete on tour. Just watch the hustle. Welch just chased down every shot, and when Ricky Moye missed this forehand, the pressure was on and it was match point. Moye serving to stay in the match, but Douglas and Welch close out the exciting match and win their third straight World Challenge, 6-4, 6-4. And the celebration was on in Birmingham.
Welcome back to the final day of action here at the Lakeshore Foundation Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama World Challenge. Let's go to the men's singles final now as the world champion David Hall of Australia takes on the #1 American Stephen Welch in the finals. Welch from Fort Worth, Texas, has yet to break through and be #1 in the world, and I think that's something he's looking to try and do here, step through this year in '99 and get to that #1 slot. David Hall, on the other hand, has been #1 twice before. So Hall, a two-time champion here at the World Challenge, serving now at love 15, serving for the first set. And that is the backhand that's been the decisive stroke.
Love 30.
As Welch uses it beautifully there. We talked about the service return and what a key it is in wheelchair tennis. And he just nailed that one cross court. No reply from Hall. Love 30. Well, Hall really dictating play there, and I think Welch wanted to play a different kind of point there. He was really struggling just getting the ball back into play. But Hall, again, putting good pressure on now. 15-30. Well, a great recovery from Stephen Welch there. He tracked that ball down into the fence. But I think it took a little bit out of him as he made an error on the next shot. Boy, some clutch tennis from David Hall, though, to get back even now. 30 all. Remember, he's serving for the first set here at 6-5. Ooh, and a close call on the sideline goes Hall's way. So from love 30 down now, David Hall back to 40-30, and he's serving now at set point. And that's a great attacking backhand from Stephen Welch. And that's where he was having great success earlier, was when he hit out.
Advantage Hall.
Oh, and a careless error from Welch there. Hall again at set point.
Deuce.
Some nervous moments from both players here as they trade errors back to deuce.
Advantage Hall.
So set point number 3 now for David Hall. And there it is, David Hall with the winner.
First set Hall.
And that brings him the first set at 7-5. Welcome back to the Lakeshore Foundation World Challenge. We move ahead now to action in the second set.
Game Welch. He leads 4 games to 2.
We move now to action later in the set. And what a tremendous point from both guys as Welch tracks down that lob that went over his head.
40.
And finally, David Hall with the air.
Game Welch. Welch leads 5 games to 2, second set.
We move now to action later in the second set. David Hall, the 29-year-old from Sydney, Australia, now serving. He's down 4-5 here in the second set, but he's got the first set in hand at 7-5.
Lot 15.
And a big return from the American Stephen Welch. Wins him the first point. And I think that's gotten into some trouble. He had some winning chances here, but he started chipping the backhand instead of driving it. He's had great effect with that drive backhand. But Hall has stayed away from it. So 2 quick points to Welch. And if he can get the break here, he will have the second set in his pocket. And what a great chance for this American to pull this match even. David Hall at love 30 now. Boy, and that's a great serve from Hall.
15-30.
Welch was leaning into the backhand side. There's the backhand. Stephen Welch now with a couple of break points and set points here. David Hall saves one set point. Well, even with Stephen Welch's great speed on the court, he couldn't track down that forehand. Still another set point now for Stephen Welch. And there it is, Stephen Welch with that backhand winner cross court. He wins the second set 6-4. We are at 1 set all here in the men's singles final at the World Challenge. David Hall, the #1 seed from Sydney, Australia, now serving at 3-4 in the final set, looking to pull even